certainly have an incredible and important responsibility to raise their children well and to the best of their ability. But now the evidence is abundantly clear that spanking is not a best practice. Spanking is ineffective, can result in negative consequences, including physical child abuse.
I think the parents should have the right to choose moderate corporal discipline for their children as among the tools that good parents can use to discipline their kids. Abuse is not appropriate. The Supreme Court and the lower courts have upheld the right of parents to make good choices, and particularly at the state court level have upheld the right of parents to choose corporal discipline when done correctly and done moderately.
They raise us to be tough. That's why our kids are not spoiled. We raise our kids to be tough and not spoiled. Other people raise their kids, they entertain them. Their job is to entertain them. What do you want to do today, Cooper? You want to go to Color Me Mine, Gymboree? Want to scour the internet for things to do? Have you got a Groupon on your iPhone? We're not there to entertain our kids. They come up to you, I don't have anything to do. Oh yeah, find your teeth. That's how we raise them tough with values. That's how we do it. Old school. We raise them old school, but new school. We teach them right now. Right now.
Look how we parent. Each ethnic group does it a little bit different. No one gives better parental advice than my white brothers and sisters. You guys give statistics and facts. You guys have flyers on the refrigerator. It's beautiful. A Mexican mom doesn't give statistics, she doesn't give facts, she'll just give examples. You're gonna end up like your cousin Lupe. Some cultures you could talk back to your mom. If you grew up in a Latino home, you cannot talk back to your mother. You let your kids talk back to you? They talk back to you? And you let them live? I mean, you let them get away with it? I remember I thought I was old enough to talk back to my mom. She whooped me and grounded me for 2 weeks. Had to call my wife, let her know I couldn't come home. Baby mom is tripping.
You never want to make it seem like they failed you as a parent.
We have a problem, we just speak to our family, or we kind of swipe it under the rug. Even when we speak to our families, we're told to be super strong.
Get over it is the one, like you hear that a lot, I think, in Latino families, especially if your parents grew up like in Mexico, like mine did, where they really just had to get over it.
In 2015, Hispanic students in grades 9 through 12, 18.9% had seriously considered attempting suicide.
Regionally and individually, the terms used for Hispanic Latino population vary. Terms for ethnicity do not mean race. The word Hispanic is used consistently by government agencies. It implies a connection via the Spanish language, but isn't used in Spanish itself. Many first and second generation immigrants prefer to highlight their country of origin, identifying themselves as Mexican or Venezuelan, for example. Mexican American, Cuban American, etc. also are used especially by the second generation and beyond. Bottom line, ask how people prefer to refer to themselves.
Mistakes that professionals can make in working with an Hispanic family or a Hispanic client. The Hispanics are very varied ethnically, in education, in culture, in country of origin, even in language. We probably have a greater variability of levels of education than we have within the United States, and you can't assume that because they haven't been to school that they're illiterate. We need to find out who do we have and not stereotype. I put a lot of people who speak Spanish more at ease. But of course, I'm not Hispanic in origin, and Spanish is my second language, and they can sense that. And you don't know when you arrive what's going to establish that credibility. If we're going to be effective, we have to work with the person's context and with family members. And it may be extended family that are most important. And so you need to just try to figure out.
I will say it was hard telling my parents that I was seeing a therapist because I didn't want to like disappoint them that like I essentially am not strong enough to do this. But instead it was kind of turned to like, you're strong enough to actually seek a therapist, you know? And even my mother, what's so crazy is that like her and I connected on even a deeper level because she was like, you know what? All of the feelings that you had or have been feeling, like I've felt those too. She was like, but I mean, it's never been a thing in my family to seek out. You just kind of deal with it. And so like, that's why to me, my mother's like the strongest person I know because she's been through so much through her childhood. On top of that, she dealt with depression and everything else, but she always dealt with it on her own because she was like, this is not something that we do in our family, you know?
Campbell Union School District's Positive Discipline for Latino Parents, or De Hombre a Hombre class, addresses a real need for its families.
Positive Discipline was the best received class from the parents' perspective. The feedback they gave was it was powerful and brought about changes in their families.
The key elements on the Positive Discipline philosophy is establish a connection between the family.
The feedback from the moms, did it bring about change? And what their response universally is, we have better communication, the dad is now involved, that the dad is on the same page as the mom.
The purpose of a ban on corporal punishment is not to criminalize parents. It would be to educate parents about better alternatives, better disciplinary practices, and it would minimize or at least reduce violence in our culture.
I don't think that spanking is a place that parents should start. When there's defiant disobedience, that's where you use it. But there are many other things that parents should consider. You should not leave your child bleeding or bruised or anything like that. Punishment that's proper is momentary, is felt, but is not lasting.